Hello, online crew, and welcome to today's live where we're going to talk about time. Who wishes they had more time to build their business? I know a lot of you can relate to this. It's something that I hear all the time. I just don't have enough time. So we're going to talk about time today, and I'm going to give you 10 tips that, so if you've got a pen and paper, I would grab them right about now and write these down because they're just things that you need to consider to really be effective with your time, basically. So we'll get on to that in a moment. So how is everybody? I hope you're doing really well. Who's in the video challenge? Who started either today or yesterday, depending on your time zone around the world? We have commenced the free 14-day online career video challenge. So some of you would have started yesterday, some of you would have started today. Different time zones, obviously people are starting at different times, but I hope you've got day one underneath your belt and you're well on your way. So congratulations to those that have commenced the video challenge. Clubhouse tomorrow, we are talking about how do you get into the head of your prospects on social media. Like, how do you network and ask the right questions of your prospects to be able to sell more of your products, or have those conversations about people being open to looking at your business. So don't miss Clubhouse tomorrow. Those of you in my coaching community, we're creating automated emails for you guys later this week, so don't miss that. And if you're looking at what's coming up when this week, if you just go to helenmartinonline.com/events, that's where you'll get all the links for everything for the coming week. So we update that every Monday. So if you just remember that link, helenmartinonline.com/events, then that's all the information that you need to know. And up above in the description, or depends where you're watching from, there's only a few hours left to get the special offer that's been created for me by Fernie at Attraction Marketing to attend Digital Networker Live. So if you're watching from my business page or my group, the link will be above. If you're watching from Instagram or YouTube, if you just go to attractionmarketing.com/Helen, all the details are there, but there's only a few hours left to grab a whole lot of free stuff. So I want to party with some people in Vegas in July. Who wants to come with me? I can't wait. It's going to be really cool. So who's here with me live? How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? I had a really strange weekend. I'll get onto that in a minute. We've got Dan here. Hello, Dan. Hello, Cherie. All up to date. Awesome. Mel is in the challenge. How are you going so far? Hello, Helen. Here we are again. Absolutely. I just had a 3-hour call with those in my VIP mentorship program. Straight onto this call. Beth's one of those people. Good morning, Heather. How are you? So I'm going to get into this thing called time, because it's something that I hear over and over and over again, and honestly, I get pretty sick of hearing it. But I know it's reality for a lot of you. Hey, Tashi, how are you? Good to see you there on Instagram. How many of you have said before, I just don't have enough time to build my business? I don't have enough time to watch all the training videos. I don't have enough time. I can't keep up, or I can't do the video challenge because I don't have enough time. Like, how many of you, like, be honest, how many of you constantly feel like you don't have enough time to build your business because you're doing it sort of online? Like, who's honest enough to admit that? Let me know. Because what I want to share with you regarding time and, getting more time, and what I've learned about, how to manage time is, well, I guess, let me say, can you manage time? Is it actually possible to manage time? What do you think? What do you think about time? Can you create more time? Can you actually even manage time? What are your thoughts around that? Heather's always running out of time because I'm not organized. Well, at least you admit it. Who can relate to that, what Heather just said there? She admits she's not organized, so she's always running out of time. Can you create more time? So Jeanette thinks you can manage time. Can you create more time? No. I don't know what's going through your heads, but you can't create more time. Do I have any more time than you? Do you have any more time than me? No one has any more time than anyone else. You can't create more time because time is just time. There is only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you cannot create more time other than the time that you know you already have. So, how do you create more time for your business, so to speak? Kind of speaking in riddles here a little bit, but you can't create any more time. So, why is it that some people are multimillionaires and then there's you and me and everyone else that's not? What do the people that have the millions of dollars do that you're not doing? Because nobody has more time than anyone else. And there's one thing that I get really frustrated with hearing a lot from people in my community, people in my coaching community, people even in my VIP program, that I hear a lot is, I didn't have enough time. Yeah, you did. You don't have any more time than I do, or I don't have any more time than you did. You just didn't prioritize. You don't have, and you can't create any more time. So if you want to have more success in your business, you have to make the time to spend on your business and as Heather said, get more organized. Now, there's some tips around this, so stay with me because I know you know that generally. But people that say to me, I just don't have the time, here's a reality check. You'll never have the time. If you don't have the time now, you'll never have the time unless you change a few things, because there's always something that's going to come up. How many of you have families, husbands, wives, kids, grandkids, friends, elderly parents like I do, that create a whole another level of care and time? So, how many of you have those things in your life? If you have those things in your life, there's always going to be things to distract you from your business. Now, unfortunately, in the business model that we're in direct sales, social selling, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, we're okay to let ourselves down. You won't let anyone else down. If you have a traditional job that you're getting paid for, you'll show up to work no matter what. You'll keep doing your job to get paid. But in our own businesses, for some reason, we're quite happy to let ourselves down because it's only us letting ourselves down. Reality is most people in this business model don't allow enough time to build their business, and you let life get in the way. But then you blame it on the business model that it doesn't work. Does that ring true for any of you? That kind of deep down you're like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if this gels well with me. I'm not good enough at this. The reality is probably you just haven't given enough time, or you don't dedicate enough time per day or per week to actually build your business. Would that be fair to say for a lot of you? I want to share with you some things, and I really want you to think about this in relation to time for you. Okay? 10 things I'm about to read out, and I want you to really think about these in how you can utilize this information to perhaps pay more attention to your business so you can get better results, because I tell you now, you'll never get more time. If you're struggling with time now, you'll probably continue to struggle with time day in, day out, week in, week out. And when people say to me, oh, when I get more time, I'll go and watch that. Or when I get more time, I'll go and do that. I'm like, no, you won't, because you're never going to create the time. If you don't have the time now and you don't create the time for it, it's just going to be the same pattern for you week in, week out. Okay, so here's what you want to think about. My VIPs hate me for this, the people in my VIP program. But when we first start, it's a 6-month program. I only open it up twice a year. But what we do every time we open the program is I ask them to track VIPs, any of my VIPs, if you're listening, share your thoughts around this. I get them to track what they're doing every day. So the number one thing is you can't actually have an awareness around how you can work better or smarter or create more time for your business within the 24 hours that you've got every day, unless you're aware of how you're spending your time now. And I guarantee you are wasting time, and probably a lot of time. But you don't know that until you sit down with a tracker, and it's painstakingly annoying. And some of the VIPs still don't do it or haven't done it. But when you track from when you get up to when you go to bed, what you're actually doing with your time, you very quickly work out where you're wasting time. Do you know how much time you waste in a day? You'll never really know how much time you waste in a day until you track your time. So you can't improve how to create more time within the time that we've all got, or be more effective with your time until you track. So the number one thing that I would recommend you do is track how you're using your time every day for a minimum of 7 days, minimum. So get a little spreadsheet out and put whatever time you get up, 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., what time do you get up, right through till midnight, and actually painstakingly write down what you do all day. You will very quickly see your holes. You'll very quickly see how much TV that you watch, or how much you scroll social media, or how the last 2 hours went by and you don't know what you did. You were busy, but you didn't achieve anything. Okay, so number one, you've got to be able to track what you're currently doing to be able to improve what you do in the future. Number two, who's really good at planning and who's not? Who works with a schedule, a calendar, things like that, and who just flies by the seat of their pants? Most people I find on social media are like, oh, I should have posted something, I'll just put something up. Or I haven't posted anything for 3 or 4 days, I'll just put something up. Or I haven't done a live video for like 2 weeks, I should probably go live. Like, you're flying by the seat of your pants with your business. Or I should do some networking, so I better get on Facebook for or Instagram for half an hour and do some networking, whatever. You're just winging it. You don't have a plan, you don't have any time blocks. There's no real, focus as to what you're doing. So the second thing is you've got to have a daily schedule and stick to it with whatever works for you. Things that work really well for me is a program called Trello. Some of you might know that. It's a very simple software program. You can get the free version and you just literally drag and drop your to-dos, and you can put them like in days, AM, PM, like you can create it the way that you want to. I use a Google Calendar because it's universal and it's in the cloud. So whether it's my phone or my computer, it's universal. I can pick it up anywhere. And I still have no, it's not here by my desk, but I still have a little paper calendar as well. What keeps you organized? Is it something like a Google Calendar, or do you use Trello, or are you still a paper person? Paper person doesn't make it wrong. It's just if you lose it, you could be in trouble. When things are in the cloud, like electronic, which is the way we should all really move, then if you lose something or your phone gets stolen or something like that, it's still on your computer, it's still in the cloud. So that's the benefit of those kind of things. But you really need to organize yourself, and at least minimum a week in advance. I know you put appointments probably in a calendar of some sort, but how often do you actually put down what you're going to do for your work in your home business in a calendar? It's something that you really want to do effectively. Number 3, I had a big discussion about this actually on our VIP call, is learning how to prioritize. Who has a list of 1 million things on it and you take one look at it and you immediately get overwhelmed? Lists are not necessarily that effective for you for that purpose. But if you do have a list, my recommendation to you with that list is go through that list and put a 1, 2, or 3 next to it, and then have a number 1 priority list and a number 2 and a number 3. Like if you've got a list a mile long of business and personal stuff, you need to prioritize what's on the list to cut down the overwhelm. Otherwise, as soon as you look at your list, you're like, I've got so many things to do in so little time. And you just go straight into overwhelm, and overwhelm causes people to get stuck. So if you're stuck, if you're in overwhelm, then you're not getting any results in your business, that's for sure. So you want to learn to prioritize. Things like, for me, at this time of the day, I'm going to be here regardless, unless I'm sick or in hospital or, something's come up, very rare for that to happen. But I'm going to be here giving value to you guys at this time. It is my priority. I do not make appointments at this time of day when I'm going live. My live is my priority. My personal appointments are not my priority at this time. So do you see the difference? How many of you prioritize your online business, or you work around everything else? So you're not actually prioritizing it, you're just fitting it in where it fits. And because life is busy, most of you are probably not fitting in efficient time to be able to build your business effectively. And you'll end up saying things like, I just don't have time to watch the trainings. Okay, number 4, group similar tasks together. So things like when you're online, you're checking your emails and your messages, like that's a similar task. So, if you want a time block, like 30 minutes, I'm going to check my messages and my emails and see what I need to respond to. So instead of separating them, I just use that as one example. If you can actually bring together similar tasks in a time frame, you're going to be far more efficient with your time. Part of the problem for a lot of you is that you're really not efficient with your time. And it's what number is it? Oh, it's actually the next one, number 5. Multitasking is really, really bad for you. So if you're somebody that sits in front of your computer to do a post, but you got your phone next to you with the messenger going off and you've got the email on in the background and that's going off. And so every time an email dings, you minimize your screen and have a look at your email, and then your messenger goes off, and then you're here having a conversation with a friend for the next 30 minutes. Multitasking is one of the most ineffective things you can do unless it's something like, here's where I use multitasking: driving in a car and I'm listening to a training, or I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'm listening to a live video in the background because I'm just chopping or, doing whatever, or I'm vacuuming and I've got my AirPods in and I'm listening to a training or something like that. That's really the only time you should multitask. When it's something that, it's something that requires your brain to think or something like that. You don't want to be creating social media posts. Oh my God. I've been talking for a long time now. Social media posts. You don't want to have everything else in the background open, because it takes, and I've proven this here. I don't know if you saw it when I do that little demonstration of A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will do it so much quicker when you're doing one thing in a row and then the next thing in a row than doing this task, then this task, then this task, then this task. It'll take you 5 times as long to do it that way. Okay, so number 5 is avoiding multitasking at all costs. Okay, unless the example that I showed you before. 6 is using time limits and dates. I get stuck into the people in my VIP program about this. They'll say, I want to do this, and I'll go, by when? Like, I want to, achieve something or other. Okay, by when? Put a date on your goals and work backwards from that. If you have no deadlines, if you have no time frames, you're just winging it again, week in, week out, month in, month out. You've got to have deadlines on things, and trust me, it'll force you to actually be more productive when you put a deadline on something that you want to achieve. Okay, and time limits. So something like, I know people get exhausted by social media. I definitely do. So maybe you're networking and building up relationships on social media, which you absolutely should do. We're in a relationship business. So we need to build lots and lots of relationships with people on social media. So hopefully you're doing some kind of networking every single day. That should be a minimum non-negotiable for you in your business. But you've got to have a time limit to it, because otherwise it wears you down. If you're always on your phone and you're always scrolling and you're always answering messages and you're always connecting with people, it can exhaust you. And then you become one of these people that you're all in, then you're all out because you're exhausted. And then weeks go by and you get a surge of enthusiasm again, and you're all in for a week, and then you stop it again. Like, you want to have a minimum non-negotiable time frame, 15 minutes, 30 minutes of networking in the morning, maybe in the evening as well if you have the time, and just stop. A good gauge for that for me is putting a song on. So I'll put a favorite song on that I like just in the background, and I'll start my networking, and when the song finishes, I finish. But I do it a few times a day. So I'm still getting it done every day, but I've got a time limit on it. And then when that time limit is up, I stop and I get on to my next task. Okay, so little things like that can be really helpful. Number 7, which builds on what I just said before, is when it comes to social media and building online, you do not want to sit in front of your computer for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. You've got to have buffers. You've got to have standard breaks. You've got to prioritize your family, because if you're one of these people, and trust me, I know this way too much, when the computer starts creeping in the kitchen, and then you've got your phone and the computer, and I've done this before, and I'm completely unaware of how much and I've got little eyeballs on me, like, well, they're not little eyeballs anymore, but teenage boys that are watching everything that I'm doing. And I'm blending too much my work into family time. You've got to have those kind of buffers and boundaries to people. If any of you got a big team, you got to have boundaries and buffers to those people. But also, so when you're on and you're focused and you're really structured and you plan really well, when you're on, and when you're off, you're off. Otherwise, it's really hard to manage social media. So just be really efficient and really effective and plan really well and have dates and time frames. And when you're on with no distractions. And when you're off having fun with your family and friends. Does that make sense? Otherwise, when you blend too much, and I've done a lot of that in the past, a lot of that, it's not good for anybody, you or the family, okay? Number 8, learning to say no. You have to prioritize your business and have time for your business and not give yourself to everyone else, and then have all your dreams and goals get left in the gutter because you're helping everybody else. You're attending to everybody else's needs, and you're wondering why your business isn't growing, why you're not getting any new customers in, why you're not getting any more teammates or clients into your business, because you don't have the time to give it, because you're giving everything of yourself to everyone else, and you're not prioritizing yourself and your business at all. At various times, your minimum non-negotiables will change. At the moment, just to share something that's going on in my life, my father had a very bad fall at a shopping centre on Friday. He ended up in hospital. I was looking for him for 2 hours. I couldn't find him. I had all the neighbours in his street looking for him as well. And I eventually got a call saying, it was actually a stranger rang an ambulance and sent him to the hospital. He's in the hospital. That night, they don't know whether it was related to the fall or not, his heart stopped. Thankfully, they managed to revive him, and he's okay, and he's still in hospital, and he's stable. But he may never go home again. We're now looking into nursing home care and all that kind of stuff. And our world has shifted since last weekend. So if he does go into nursing home care, there's all of that. There's the paperwork, there's finding the facilities, there's potentially selling his home. There's all that to come yet. And I've got other things going on in my world as well. So at certain times, there will always be things that come into your life that throw you. And some of them come, out of the blue. So at various times, how much you do will shift depending on what's happening in your life. But I would never not show up for you guys. You're still my priority to turn up live. I've got my minimum non-negotiables for my business here and to my crew, and to give you guys value and to talk to you about real stuff that's going on in my world and how I manage it all. You get where I'm coming from? So you can't let everything slide. And then you look back 2 months later when your crisis is over going, I really let everything go and now I'm back to square one. You want to be able to manage your minimum non-negotiables. And at the moment, with what I've got going on, my minimum non-negotiables will probably be less now in the coming weeks than what they have been, because there's this thing that's been, that happened over the weekend that we now have to deal with. It's just life, guys. You all have these things, whether it's family or yourself or your health or whatever, but you can't let everything slide. Because these things come up, you just got to manage everything the best way you can, but you can't let your business go completely because life gets in the way. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to share with you as well how I manage, when things like this come up. It doesn't mean I'm not going to turn up and be live with you guys, or not do the video challenge and not do all my other commitments from my coaching community and Clubhouse and all the rest of it. I'll still do all of that because that's my minimum non-negotiable commitments to my business. And outside of that, I'll manage everything to do with Dad and his care and, you know, all the rest of it, along with my sisters. So I just share that with you because we've all got stuff going on. Every single one of us has got stuff, you know, going on. It's just how you manage it. Okay. So the more organized that you are and the more real you are about your time and how much you have to fit into that time and still making sure that you don't give up on your business, it's really important. Okay. So learning to say no to things was number 8. Number 9 is getting really, really super organized. So planning and thinking ahead. I can't manage my weeks unless I actually plan like at least a week in advance, if not more. Otherwise, my week is chaos. And I feel like when I leave everything to the last minute, like things like, oh, what am I going to talk about on my live tomorrow? If I leave that till just the night before, my week is just, there's too much mentally going on in my head. But when I know coming into a week what I'm going to talk about on my Facebook Lives, what my training is going to be, like my calendar for my coaching community is a month. Like I do that basically a month in advance. So the more organized you are, the less chaotic your life will be, and the more, you know, the more you'll have a structured daily method of operation, if you like. Okay. And the last one, number 10, is eliminate all the distractions. So again, it's in line with what I said earlier, is so when you're on, and when you're off, you're off. I can stop multitasking and, you know, having the radio on and your email open and your messenger. And then, you know, suddenly you're having a conversation with a friend for half an hour and you think, oh, I didn't get that thing done. Or if you're the type of person that gets to the end of the day and says, I don't know whether I was really busy today, but I didn't achieve much. You really want to look in the mirror about how you're organizing your day and how focused or unfocused you are, because I guarantee you, if you start tracking your time for a week, you'll work out that you're probably not as efficient as you think you are. So when you sort that out and you really look that in the face, then you've got half a chance to actually fix it. But you know, I've got no more time than you. You've got no more time than me. It's not time finding more time. It's actually, you know, working out how you can plan, focus, time blocks, dates, being realistic, not letting your non-negotiables go. They just might be a little bit more or less depending on what you've got going on sort of in your world. Just checking on a few comments before we go. Yeah, you have to have a business mindset is what Beth's saying. Prioritizing investing in your business. Yeah. It was awful at first, but I actually love tracking now. So that's the tracking, because you find out where the holes are, so you can figure out the time you waste. Absolutely, Beth. Heather, just been through that too. Have you? Thoughts are with you. Wishing your dad a speedy recovery. Thank you, Steve. Thinking of you and your family and your dad. Thank you very much. Appreciate the thoughts there. Being there, it can wear you down. Definitely need to have a schedule. Absolutely. Helen, I wish for your father a complete recovery and restoration to good health. Thank you very much. Wishing your dad. Thank you for all your kind comments here, guys. I really appreciate that. And just checking here on Instagram. Oh, thank you, Heather. I appreciate your thoughts there. Yeah, Tashi, I'm blaming my baby for not having time. I could relate, and I have to do better compared to what you're sharing. So something like a child, like a baby, that can, you know, they're very, very time consuming, but you don't want to use that as the excuse. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Tashi, but you just got to work around the things that are happening in your life to make sure your business doesn't completely go by the wayside, because it's what you work towards. It's what, you know, it's the goals and dreams and the vision that you have, and you don't want to let that slide no matter what's going on. Time management is so important. It is. So thank you. Sorry, I've talked long enough. Just remember there is a deadline on the link above if you've got, or attractionmarketing.com/Helen. So check that out. Keep going, video challenges. It's so exciting to see your videos pop up, and join us on Clubhouse tomorrow, where we're talking about how do you get the head into the head of your prospects so you can actually offer them a solution and get more customers and, grow your teammates as well. So thank you for listening today. I know this thing called time is a struggle, but you can't create more of it. If you're one of those people that says constantly, I just don't have enough time, you're exactly the person that needs to have a look at those 10 points there and work out how you actually get smarter with your days, with the 24 hours that you've got to get where you need to go, rather than making excuses. I don't have enough time, because honestly, it's just an excuse. If you have goals and dreams for your business, you want to make more money, you want to help more people, you have to make the time within the time that you've got. And it is absolutely 100% worth it. Okay. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you, or I can't see you, but on Clubhouse tomorrow. And, for my lives later in the week as well. So thanks for being here. Bye.